Hello again, everybody out here. It's the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series tonight from the Elite Racing League. Tonight we got a full distance race, 200 laps from Dover. It's the Monster Mile 200. Coming into tonight, R.C. Enerson is the point leader. Tyler Fody, Josh Adams, Tooker, and Weeks are all separated by 14 points. What are you expecting to see tonight, Nick, from a race standpoint? Long green runs, lots of yellows, a mix it up. Any green flag stops you think tonight?
I don't think we're having a caution. I think we're going caution free for 200 laps, Chris. I think these guys got these cars dialed in. I think they're ready to go. I think we're going to see maybe even some green flag pit stops tonight.
I do not believe we're going to go caution free. Right now we are in the middle of qualifying. Chad Frankenfield is right now on the pole with 59. The only guy that's in the fives right now. Tooker just jumped to second.
I'm trying to be optimistic over here, Chris. I think we're going under 4 cautions tonight.
Man, I just don't know. Dover's hit or miss. Like I've had some races at Dover where the cars, are really out of control, really out of shape. Some of them where it's tight. I'm really not sure what to expect. I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody. But with a lot of guys out here, I do expect some cautions. But I do expect at some point we will see a green flag run. Down to the final minute here, and it's Rucker. Rucker's jumped up to second. Frankenfield's still first. Tooker, R.C. Enerson, and Vincent Isabella. Vincent had a great run the last time out. Led a lot of laps. Bringing speed again here in the 12 car. You think he'll be able to keep it tonight?
Yeah, he got out there and led some laps last week in Michigan. I think he's going to carry that momentum through to tonight. And even Rucker, too. I mean, Rucker, we talked about him last week, needing better qualifying, and he's sitting up there P2 on the board right now. He drove up, into the top 5 in Michigan with a lot of speed last week and then got wrecked late. So I think he's looking to turn that around and off to a good start here at P2 in qualifying.
Yeah, and just to hit on some guys that we, mentioned in the points here in qualifying, Josh Adams right now, he's back part of the top 10. Fody's back there. Weeks is about midfield. Jeff Green's midfield. So we are going to have some guys that are going to have to make some noise. Harrison Talon right now, he is maybe on his lap. If he's throwing away the first one at 25.5, that's well off the pace. Maybe he wrecked. He's going to start 33rd. Not a great run there for him. Garrison Hogan's back there. Did not make a run. But like I said, Jeff Green is 15th. Weeks is 13th. Fody's 11th. Josh Adams is 9th. So those are guys that are up there in the points. We got David Westergreen's going to roll off 18th here tonight. Real quick, before we get too far into this, I want to shout out some sponsors here. Like I said, some Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. C2 Freight is a sponsor. Blue Egg Marketing, Powerhouse Recycling. No race sponsor tonight. It's the Monster Mile 200, full distance, 200 laps from Dover. And I want to give a shout out to our producers here tonight. We got Rich and David up here with us. They're working in tandem tonight. Don't have Gavel with us this week, so they stepped up to help us this week. So we appreciate what they've done to help us get this broadcast going tonight. Everybody at the Elite Racing Network, Chad Frankenfield for running the league. We got races every day this week, I believe. Had a couple last night. Had the F1 race, had the truck race, got the Xfinity race tonight. I know the Cup race is Wednesday. Busy time right now in Elite, so lots of racing, lots of guys running a lot of different series here. So real quick here, Nick, you got to pick to win. Somebody to watch tonight.
Last week, I forget who I picked last week. I said Garrison Hogan was the guy to watch out for, and he ended up winning the race. I think my pick didn't do too hot. I think I had Tooker. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Fody. I think starting 11th, I think he's going to work his way up there. This is a track where you got to keep the tires on the car. Don't keep it off the fence, and I think Fody's pretty good at doing that. So, who are you watching out for?
Well, Fody's a great pick, but I think I'm going to take Ethan Burrell tonight. I think that's the guy that is going to have a good run. Pace car is off. Chad Frankenfield is the pole sitter, and he is gone. Very early start. Big jump for him there, too.
like Ethan's gonna follow him through to second here. Rucker, not a great start. Hard to get a good jump on the outside.
Oh, we got a
Especially
wreck here. Jesse Razimus there got turned right in the middle of the pack. Oh man, some cars have came in here really late. Just you cannot come into a wreck that late. Is that Michael Goodman that came in there late?
Well, Chris, I was optimistic. I said we're gonna go caution free, and we made it about 500 feet down there in turn one. Ooh, it looks like it started with 11 Weeks getting into Jesse Rasmus back there.
Yeah, everybody did a great job. There's Jeff Green in the C2 freight machine. If somebody comes in here really late, like at this point, everybody should be able to miss this, and just
Oh
the
yeah.
44 comes in really late. So, like you said, we made it about 500 feet and got our first yellow. I don't think either car is tore up too bad. And I was about to say, typically when guys take off that early, it kind of spreads the field out, and you don't see, a wreck early or really quick here off the drop. But even with that early takeoff, they still found a way to get together. I'm guessing Weeks is going to get the strike for that wreck because he's coming down pit road here. I really don't know why else he would come down pit road unless he was informed that that wreck is going to be blamed on him. And there you see it, race control 11 at fault. Well, Nick, how many cautions before we make 5 laps now? That's the question.
I don't know. Like you said, I'm surprised with the quick start like that they ended up getting together back there. But we got 5 sets of tires tonight, Chris. How many do you think they use? Did they use them all?
Well, it's 5 with the ones on the car, right? It's 4 in the pits, I believe.
Oh, yep.
Well, it is full distance, 4 in the pits. More than likely, everybody's going to use them. More than likely, you're going to probably want to have a set saved for the last 20 laps. So if I was looking at this, I would say 3 for the first, I don't know, 150, 160. I would not want to use all 4 sets before 50 to go. While we are getting ready to go green here, again, shout out to all our sponsors, Mrs. Goody's Grand National Series, C2 Freight, a freight management service. We got Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small businesses. Got Powerhouse Recycling, and again, no race sponsors tonight. It's the Monster Mile 200. Still got 2 to green. Still got Chad out front, Ethan Burrell, Rucker, Tooker, and Vincent Isabella as the top 5. Nick, I know we're only a few races in, but are you ready to start talking about championship favorites? Some guys that we've seen up front, every week, week in, week out, find themselves there and whatnot. Some guys that, might go on and win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, we're about halfway to our cutoff to see who's in the playoffs here. I think you can name a few favorites. Obviously like RSD already got a win. Fode's been running up front. And I think Ethan Burrell's, he may be 7th in the points, but I think he's had a lot of good runs too. So I think those are the guys you got to watch out for.
Yeah, right now, like I said, our top 5 in points is RC Enerson, Fode, Josh Adams, Tooker, and Weeks. I don't think there's any surprises there. We talked about Vincent running well. He's sitting there in 7th. Josh Robin is sitting there in 9th. Joseph Cossey is 8th. So there's some guys that are, we talk about Rucker having speed, but not a lot of luck. We're halfway to the playoffs, and he's sitting tied for 10th. Jeff Green is sitting there tied for 16th. So there's some guys that need some good runs and try to pull themselves up into this points fight to make the chase.
Yeah, and Jeff
make the
Green's
playoffs.
got 2 poles on the year, just hasn't been able to put the finishes together.
Well, he dodged that first wreck there. He did a great job getting down to the apron, using some brake and avoiding it. So maybe tonight he'll get that top 5, top 10 run that he needs and make something happen here. We are getting ready to go green.
And we got teammates lined up on the outside, 37 of Burrell, 19 of Tooker.
And Chad is off again. Early start again. Looks like everybody was a little bit more prepared for it this time. He still gets away in a nice jump, but the field is a little bit tighter. And it looks like Rucker will take that second spot. Some cars there almost into the wall off of 2.
Yeah, I think the 12 of Vincent Isabella might have got a little bit of that wall.
Hopefully the groove widens out tonight. We get to see some good side-by-side racing. You know, we used to come here for a long time, and it was all right around the bottom, but now it looks like some guys are already running well up the racetrack trying to help that corner exit.
What's your favorite, what's your approach to running this track, Chris? You want to dime in the corner, you want to keep that thing pinned in the bottom, you want to wash up and then cut it down?
Man, I think it all depends on how the car is handled. I think if you're churning pretty well, if the car's a little free, I want to run right around the bottom. But if the car's a little bit tight, you know, you don't want to try to force it to stay on the bottom and burn the right front off of it. What about you? You know, you like to, even if it's tight, try to use a little more brake and make it stay on the bottom, or do you want to try to move up?
I usually try to, well, yeah, like you said, it kind of depends. You know, if the car's tight, I kind of enter in the middle and then cut it down. But, you know, if it's handling good, I like to dive it in on the bottom, let it wash up, and then cut that thing back down.
Yeah, right now it looks like everybody's kind of going in, letting it wash up. So that tells me that the cars must be a little bit tight tonight. A little bit tight in the middle, probably going to lead the free off. I mean, look at Vincent there, just kind of running that second lane on entry, coming to the bottom. Looking like a diamond for sure right now. RC might be able to try to get underneath him. We'll see. You got Josh Adams right there. You got Fody here at the back of this group. Then it's a gap behind Fody to Jeff Green. Not a whole lot of side-by-side going on right now. Looks like everybody's kind of trying to settle in. You know what that tells me, Nick? That tells me that they are trying not to burn the right front tire off the car. If you're trying to run single file and just sit behind a guy and sit in line like this, that tells me you're trying not to burn the right front. You're trying to save your tires. Just everybody kind of single filed out. We might see this race go green, like you said. It still might be the under for 4 yellows. RC trying to close up to the back of Vincent. Vincent's really getting higher than anyone else right now. He seems to be running that second, third, even a little bit higher at times in the middle of the corner. As I say that, he stays down towards the bottom here.
Man, we're kind of splitting up into, like, groups of cars here. You know, I got a big group back here running for 21st place. A lot of guys trying to make some moves back here. Got Matthew Weeks trying to work his way back to the field, trying to get around Justin Fortner. Saw Weeks getting that wreck on lap 1. Ooh, Fortner in the wall.
That's the worst thing you can do for a tight race car right there. When you hit the wall like that, I have never hit the wall like that with a tight race car, and it turned better after I did that. Have you, Nick?
Nah, I can't say it has.
And I honestly think he was up there letting Weeks go, knowing Weeks was faster and, you know, just ran really high there. And see all these guys running really high. I thought he was going to let Weeks go, but he kind of came back down to his door there.
Ooh, I saw the 16, a darter, get a little loose. It looked like coming out of turn 2. So
Yeah, these guys back here, they're doing some racing. Oh, we got contact.
yeah, yeah,
What a
Robert.
save. Oh, oh no. Oh, that's a heavy hit there.
Hey,
I
Robert Hill
thought he
tagged
had it.
him going in the corner.
That's Nicholas Darter there. I thought he had it caught, and then it went again. That was a hard hit. We're going to stay green, but that could have been big. I would imagine that's required repairs on that 16 leg. What do you think?
Yeah, he hit that wall pretty good.
We are
29.
working lap 19 here, almost 20. Chad Frankenfield still the leader over Rucker, Burrell, Tooker, R.C. Enerson, Josh Adams, Tyler Fody. They've all went around Vincent Isabella. Vincent pushes up there in the middle. He's going to get tagged in the back. What a save. Here comes Jeff Green. I think Vincent is really struggling right now. He had lost some spots leading up to that. Maybe running that high like he was. Yeah, like I said, he was a little bit higher than everybody else, especially down in the 3 and 4 ends. It's burned the tires off of it. As Ethan Burrell goes through to second place now. Tooker and R.C. Enerson right there with him.
I'll tell you another guy on the move is the 29 Trevor Elam. I think he qualified 7th. Back here, he was 23rd or so, working his way through the field. I'm not sure if he pitted after that first wreck or missed the grid, but
yeah, I'm not exactly sure with the fuel windows tonight. I'm not sure if there's a fuel window that he thinks he was in by pitting on lap 3 or 4. But tires mean so much. I don't think these guys are going to go to the end on tires. Especially if they're tight. You know, there's going to be guys that have tire failures. You know, and even though the tire doesn't blow on iRacing for you to see it and it goes straight at the wall, the tire still blows and these guys will get a meatball flag that they have to pit and change that tire.
it looks like that 12 of Vincent Isabella definitely struggling. Just lost 2 more spots to Trey Holmes and David Westergreen.
Yeah, and it looks like Rucker might be struggling with tight as well, as Tooker's going to go by him, and RC's right there. Oh, they might have gotten together. But that's going to push him up and let RC come right through with him.
Yeah, maybe Rucker took off a little quicker than he needed to and bring those tires off. And RC and Tooker, 2 of the guys that are good at saving tires. I mean, maybe that's what they were working on right off the drop here.
Yeah, we will see as Josh Adams and Tyler Fody are the next 2 that are going to catch him. But Chad Frankenfield's still sitting out here with the lead. I think Ethan Burrell is catching him. But obviously Chad has done a better job than Rucker has and Vincent. Vincent has lost a ton of spots. He's outside the top 10, just hanging on to the top 15 at this point. Jeff Green's up to 9th. So he's up to the top 10. Daniel Martinez is up to 10th. Matthew Weeks has climbed back to 17th. There we go. Taking a look at Jeff Green here. He's trying to work over Jay. That's for the 8th spot.
Yeah, so Jeff Green started 15th up to 9th.
Looks like he's really doing a big diamond right now as well.
It looks like he might have gotten the fence too. I see some right side damage on that 38 machine.
Not too hard though, I don't think. I don't see anything major wrong with the car. So what are you thinking for strategy here, Nick? We're almost 30 laps in. Obviously, we can tell by looking at these race cars that they're all pretty tight. What are you thinking for pit stops with 4 sets of tires? You know, you kind of can't really short pit too much, but tires seem to be a big deal.
Yeah, every time I try to short pit, it seems like I get burned by it. So, I try to run long. Especially here, pit road speed's way down to 35 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour. So, you lose 2 laps easy. So if you get caught on the wrong end of a caution, I mean, that's a tough hole to dig out of.
Yeah, and these boys can go. Looking here at the fuel numbers, I can see fuel numbers for a car in the field. Looks like they can go about 75 laps. So you're still looking at 45 laps or so that they could run before they have to pit for fuel. As Josh Adams has cracked the top 5, Tyler Fody has followed him right around Andrew Rucker. So as our top 5 sits right now, it's Chad Frankenfield, Ethan Burrell, R.C. Enerson, Tooker, and Josh Adams. Ooh, Hunter Smith getting together there a little bit with Trevor. Trevor's a guy you just talked about, 10 laps ago. He's coming through the field after that pit stop. I would guess that nobody took tires on that first stop as well. That had to be just a fuel stop. With just 4 sets in the pits, I don't see anybody pitting and getting new tires at lap 4 or 5 when we had that first yellow. Nicholas Darter, the 16 car that we saw earlier, he has retired from the race. Saw him take that hard hit to the outside wall. So Chad took off there, Nick, with the lead, kept the lead, had good pace. He's still sitting here with a 2+ second lead. What is he doing that Rucker maybe should have done to save that right front tire and have good speed?
One thing I'm seeing is Chad's been really committed to running the bottom. He might wash up a little bit, half a lane, but these other guys are entering in the middle, cutting it down, and Chad, for the most part, has been pretty committed to just keeping that car pinned at the bottom.
As we looked here, Matthew Weeks goes around the 7. Now here comes Trevor, going to try to come around the 7. Pushes up a little bit right in the middle. Just so tight, so hard to get that car to turn right there.
Yeah, I think as the run goes on, it's tougher to make that pass on the bottom just because you a little contact.
They touch. Yep. They're both really tight, and it's so hard to make that bottom work. Especially if somebody wants to be right on your door.
I was going to say, Joseph isn't really cutting him any slack right now either, back here for 17th.
Yeah, he could give him a little more room, but at the same time, he's fighting for that spot. But all that's going to do is hurt his tires worse. Like, he's going to hurt himself in the long run fighting this hard at this point in the race.
And Garrison Hogan's a lap down back here, too. I'm not sure if he might have missed the grid.
Well, he's coming through right now. Matthew Weeks up in the front of these guys is underneath Vincent Isabella trying to make that pass.
Yeah, and we were talking about Vincent running top 5, and he's falling all the way back here to 15th.
Yeah, he did this to us last week, too. We talked about him running at the front, and then he was gone. He's up there in the points, though. He'll find a way to get him a top 10, top 15. I mean, we saw him also get a little contact and made a good save there early in the race as well. Just struggling right now. What you don't want to do when you're this tight right now at this point in the race is make it worse. Do something to get into the fence. Do something to get wrecked. Do something to wreck yourself. You just want to survive at this point right now. It's a full-length race, so it's not like you're scrambling trying to get it righted and you have one pit stop to do it. See, in the 7, they run really close down the backstretch. 12 pushes up their late exit.
it really narrows up off these corners. It's really easy to get up into the guy above you, or even the guy above you getting loose and coming down into you. You know.
As we're having a change for second, RC's going underneath Ethan. New second place runner. They are still at about 2.5 seconds behind the leader, which is Chad Frankenfield.
Yeah, Rutgers dropping back here, back to P9. Daniel Martinez just made the pass down here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and we're getting into some traffic now too. Our leaders are dealing with lap traffic, having to make passes with lap traffic, and a couple of these lap cars get together in front of the leaders. They'll be scrambling, trying not to be involved. That's notorious for a place like Dover. We've seen it here in some real-life cup races and Xfinity races where the leader's coming through lap traffic and gets involved. We've got David Westergreen all over the back of Jeff Green. I think Jeff might have worn his stuff out a little bit because we've seen Trey Holmes and Daniel Martinez get around him. And he has fallen out of the top 10. David Westergreen trying to look underneath Jeff Green right here. Jeff's going to give him a lot of room.
And Westergreen doing a good job moving forward too. Started 18th.
I think Jeff just gave it up too. That's something that maybe will help him stay right there. Oh, Tyler Fody just about got contact with a lap car there. I'm not sure who that is right there that he's trying to pass, but he hit the wall off of 2, and Fody had to react and just about. Ooh, he's going to be in the wall again.
Man, that's not light contact either.
Yeah, I think Fody's going to be pretty happy that he's not involved in a wreck after that. Because that is Jari there that struggled there for a lap. So we got Tooker here closing in on Ethan Burrell for P2. And another car that's closing up to the back of both of these guys too. Well, another 2 cars. So Josh Adams is coming, and Fody was right there until that little incident that almost was. So Fody's fallen off of these guys a little bit, but I think he's still got the pace to run them back down. So we're about to have a 3-car battle for third, maybe in 5-10 laps, a 4-car battle. And Chad Frankenfield is about to get into a ton of traffic. There are 5 cars right in front of Chad Frankenfield right now that he's getting to that are lap cars that are really struggling. We'll see how nice they want to be or if they want to race him. Obviously, if you're losing your first lap, you kind of want to race that leader. Looks like the first 2 are going to give it to him, though. This battle for third is about 3.5 seconds behind the leader.
Got a good battle going on for 8th. Daniel Martinez making the pass on Jay Canner back here.
Yeah, he's a guy that we've seen be really good here in the long run today already. And he's gained 10 spots since the drop of the flag, so he's moving forward. We got Vincent Isabella's back to 19th. He's a guy that's backing up. Rucker, he's backed up to 9th. Tyler Dixon is up to 21st. That's 14 net gain spots there for him since the drop of the flag. Taking a look here at Trey Holmes. David Westergreen's ran these guys down. And Rucker is falling back to these guys.
They might get past, but might lose 2 spots in one corner here.
Yep. Josh Adams just went around David Tooker for 4th.
Didn't Josh say last week we weren't going to talk to him? He didn't have high hopes coming in here to Dover.
Yeah, he undersells himself quite a bit. You know, he's second in the points, third in the points, and talks about how he's a rolling trash can out here, but I don't know. It's looking pretty good tonight. Looking like he's getting ready to try to take third. And he and RC are both running lap times that are quicker than our leader.
Yeah, a couple laps ago it was about a little over 2 seconds, and now we're looking again. It's under a second back to RC. So Chad maybe struggling with lap traffic here, falling off.
And we don't know how patient he's being either with this lap traffic. He could be very patient. You know, he's the leader. He had a big lead. There's no reason to force anything and get yourself in trouble. So right now,
I was gonna say Westergreen in the wall pretty hard out of 4. But yeah, you know, I remember, Chris, one race, you might remember it, when the leader was pretty much putting on a clinic out there and took some lap cars 3 wide and ended up wrecking. Didn't end up winning the race. One of our past league races.
I do recall, and that was here, wasn't it?
It was here.
That's just something about this place that happens at times. You know, as Jeff Green has gotten around Rucker here, Rucker's really starting to struggle. Well, he's been struggling a while, but now he's falling outside the top 10. These guys can go about another 25, 30 laps, give or take. Fuel window is quite big here. You still think you want to keep running? I got to think about lap 65, 60, 65. Some of these guys might try to pit who are really, really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the fall off, we're running times 2 seconds slower than what these guys are running in qualifying, so about a 2-second fall off.
Yeah, and I think we're fixing to have a battle for the lead here pretty quick. RC has really closed up the gap to Chad Frankenfield. It's down to about a half a second. Whether Chad has fallen off, whether he was being patient with traffic, RC could just be better at this point. Chad's kind of moved up off. Remember you talked about him being kind of nailed to the bottom. He's moved up off that bottom. I think he is feeling the pressure of RC coming from behind him here, trying to find a little bit more speed. But I do think 60 laps into the fuel run like this, I would rather be where Chad is and doing what Chad has done. You know, RC might pass him here before pit stops. But how many 60 lap runs are you going to probably see tonight? You know, like, I guess it could run green, but I would rather be the guy that gets caught right before pit stops than the guy who catches somebody 60 plus laps into a run. Where do you stand on that, Nick? Which car would you rather be in?
What, the car pitting early or staying out longer?
No, Chad with his car, you know, getting hot here 60, 65 laps into a run, or RC who is just now catching him right before pit stops. What car would you rather be driving?
Oh man, I think I'd rather be in Chad's situation. I mean, he was, you know, the best car for what, 50 laps, and then RC started reeling him in. So I think I'd rather be in that boat than count on a 60 lap run to go up there and run somebody down.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like one of those lap cars there got the wall a little bit. And Josh Adams is running both of these guys down. He is taking third, and he is driven away from Ethan, Tooker, and Fody in that battle for fourth.
Yeah, he's taking the 10th, 2 tenths out. Slowly reeling them in. So
And
might see a 3-car battle for the lead here before pit stops.
yeah, and one thing I want to say, there's about 2 tracks that I can think of that have super hard pit roads to get on. You got here in Darlington. I don't know if there's harder pit roads to get on, make speed, and not make some kind of mistake. Here in Darlington are the only 2 that you can miss them so easy.
Yeah, and the big thing here too is there's not a lot of room. It's really easy to get ran over if people don't know what you're doing. If you don't
Yeah,
call that out, it's real easy to get killed down there in turn 3.
yeah, and at Darlington you can kind of abort and get away with it. Like if you're going to miss Darlington, you're going to miss it. You can abort. You're not in the way. But here, if you have to abort, man, unless you are able to see that you're way too fast really early, as they're lapping Isabella. We talked about him being strong to start. But here, if you don't abort in time, you could hit the barrels, you could wreck, you could spin the car out, you could get hit. We saw Matt Kenseth, the champion of the sport, wreck entering pit road here at Dover, running top 5 one time.
And especially, I think this is the slowest pit road speed on the circuit, down to 35 miles an hour. So once you do get into pit road, I mean, you're crawling the whole length of pit road.
Yeah, and you got 70 lap old tires on the car at this point. So it's not going to stop like you want it to. It's not going to slow down like you want it to. It's very deceiving too. Like you feel like if you brake at your normal entry point for turn 3, you'll make pit road just fine. But you actually have to brake a little bit sooner. You can't carry typical speed into 3. Lots of guys queuing up for pit roads entries here.
Yeah. And I was gonna ask, if I'm Chad here, I see RC ran me down. I think if he gets a good look on me, I just let him go, and then
And
I pit
Josh
right
Adams
away.
is there too. Look at that. Josh Adams is there right before pit stops.
Yeah, I think if I'm even maybe Josh, I mean, like you ran these guys down, maybe you pit a lap or two before him and you hop him. But if I'm Chad, I see RC's ran me down. He's looking to take the lead. I think if he gets a good look on me, I think I just let him go, and then I come down pit road the next lap.
Yeah, but the bad thing is if you short pit, right? Even if you're one of these front 3 and you hit pit road early, and somebody wrecks coming to pit road. Look at that. A lapper just missed pit road right in front of him. So if somebody makes a mistake and wrecks getting onto pit road, spins the car out, gets hit, then you're taking yourself out of this race. Ethan Burrell's on pit road right now. So, I mean, like I said, you saw that slow car miss pit road right there in front of him. It just, man, it's such a risk to short pit at a place like this. Vincent Isabella just queued up. He's got a pit. He has a flat tire. It's the first guy that I've heard queue up and say flat tire. Daniel Martinez is on pit road. Chad Frankenfield's going to pit this time.
Yeah, and this is pretty dangerous too because you got cars on tires coming behind you. I mean, you're gonna see guys flying by our leaders.
Oh, big wreck on the front stretch here. We got the 7, we got the 29.
And Chad aborted a pit road. I think he crossed the line, but I don't think he hit the cone yet. So I think he's fine. No penalty.
And that saved Chad, in my opinion, because we talk about guys struggling coming to pit road. As we're going to take a look here at the replay, the 7 blanks.
Oh yeah, go.
And then when he comes back to, it's him. He's wrecking with the 29. Oh, the 24 came in there late.
Yeah, that was all net code, all lag right there. Trevor Elam, we were talking about him having a great night, driving up through the field. Was running 12. Same with Joseph Causey in the 7. I mean, he was driving up there too. Started 26. Both of them running together and got together on the front stretch. But yeah, if that caution came out 5 seconds later, Chad would have been in a pretty tough spot there on pit road.
Yeah, and another thing I want to point out too, like we talked about all the mistakes you can make getting to pit road. In my opinion, Chad was really, really slow coming to pit road. I think he would have given up a lot of time to RC and Josh and some others being that slow. He was very cautious.
But I mean, people that killed. I mean, Ethan Burrell stuck a lap down. I guess he's only a lap down. I thought he was 2. Or no, he was 2. I take that back.
Yeah, you'll lose 2 laps here.
So yeah, I mean, the guys that just pitted. I mean, Ethan Burrell was running up there.
Yeah, we'll have to sort all this out here when we get these guys by the line one more time when timing and scoring updates. But while we are waiting for that, I want to shout out our sponsors again. We got the Mrs. Goody's Grand National Series tonight, live from Dover for the Monster Mile 200. Give a shout out to C2 Freight. Jeff Green's currently running in the top 10 right now, so it's a good night for the C2 Freight machine so far. Still half the race to run. Blue Egg Marketing, Powerhouse Recycling, and everybody at the Elite Racing Network, and Chad Frankenfield for running Elite and all these different series that he runs all week long, all year long. So as this updates, it looks like taking the wave around to get back on the lead lap will be David Westergreen. The 24 is still out here too. Ethan Burrell's, he only lost 1 lap there, Nick, it looks like. Because it looks like he's going to take the wave around to get the lap back. Jesse Razimus, he's coming off of pit road. Trevor Elam right now, we saw him in that wreck blow up. He's still scored 15th. We saw the 7 be involved in that wreck. He still scored 14th. Some of the guys here now, we're going to have RC Enerson, Josh Adams, Chad Frankenfield, Fody, and Tooker are the top 5. Dustin Dewar, Jeff Green, Matthew Weeks, Hunter Smith, Brent Jones are the top 10. So we talked about that hurting Ethan Burrell. That really hurt Ethan Burrell. But if the caution would have waited a little bit longer to come out, I think Ethan would have lost that second lap. But because it came out, the leaders were still back in the middle of 3 and 4. He only lost the 1 lap. As Daniel Martinez is going to still be a lap down when we go green here. Garrison Hogan's still a lap down. Andrew Rucker, he's short pitted. He's a lap down. We saw Vincent on pit road he's a lap down. So lots of guys there are going to have to dig out of a hole. RC is the control car. Josh Adams is the second place runner right now. As the pace car is off. RC is gone on the loud pedal. Gets Chad through to second. Josh Adams will blend in third. Tooker, Fody, and Jeff Green. Dustin Dewar. Everybody gets single filed pretty quick. Kind of a lot what we saw there earlier, Nick, when everybody kind of got single file and just rode around for about 20-25 laps trying to save their stuff.
Yeah, and this is the first time, Chad hasn't been in the lead on one of these restarts.
But I do believe he and RC are teammates. If I'm Chad, I don't really change anything from that first run. I want to get the lead. I want to do what I did, exactly what I did. And these guys still have 3 sets of tires laying in the pits for 120 laps. What these guys want to see is at least 30 or 45 laps. We got some contact, but it looks like, is everybody going to save it?
Might stay green.
Yeah,
Scott Haney. Yeah, it was the 3 of Scott Haney and the 28 of Robert Hill Jr. Had some contact going on the back.
Yeah, great job saving it there as they got together there. I thought that was for sure going to be a caution.
Yeah, we'll take a look back at what happened. 28 went like 3/4 of the way around. Surprised it didn't trigger the yellow.
I think the 3 got the wall, came off the wall, and caught him. What a save. But these guys want to see us run green for at least 30, 45 laps. You know, they don't want to get into it. If you run 10 or 15 laps, catch a caution, some people are going to pit. We're going to see some different strategies. Jesse Razimus here just called out he is going to be pitting the 70 car. It appears as if he somehow messed up and forgot to get fuel on the pit stop. That's not a good thing to have happen there, is it, Nick?
No, we'll have to go down there on pit road later and see if, maybe the car just wasn't taking fuel, some damage to the rear end of that thing, and mess up the fuel port.
Yeah, either way, not getting fuel and having to do this under green, it's not ideal. Chad Frankenfield, while that was going on, did get around RC to take the lead. Josh Adams, Tooker, and Tyler Fody are the top 5. We have 15 cars on the lead lap right now. But the 24 is not far out in front of the leaders. Neither is the 3. Ethan Burrell is well off the pack as well, but he had to start. He's a wave around cars, lots of traffic. Not to mention, Burrell's going to be on a little bit, older tires where he pitted under green. So right now we got these guys racing for the lucky dog. 24 did get lapped, but I believe he pitted. Trevor Elam, the 29, we saw him in that last wreck. He has retired from the race. As it sits right now, 14 cars on the lead lap. Garrison Hogan is currently the lucky dog. Scott Haney is the last car on the lead lap. But he is 17 seconds behind the leader, so he is not far from getting lapped once again. And if you're Garrison Hogan, the worst thing that can happen is that leaders start lapping guys again. You had to race those guys for the lucky dog there and fought for that spot, and now you're going to have, guys starting to get lapped again.
Yeah, and if he was able to make the start, he's definitely got speed. He started, 34th, and he's driven up to what would be 8th place right now, so.
Yeah, we're seeing David Westergreen right now in a tight battle. Oh, nearly some contact. I believe he's in a tight battle. That's Daniel Martinez, right? That's a lap car. I'm not sure I'd be fighting that hard with the lap car. Westergreen's running in the top 10. He's got nothing to gain by battling this guy. He's got a 3-second gap to 11th place. Daniel Martinez is trying to go. He's trying to get there to that lucky dog. He's the second car lap down right now. I think that was a very wise decision by Westergreen to get out of that and run his pace here. Josh Adams, David Tooker, the 7 cars on pit lane right now. Still dealing with his blinking issue.
And it took a while for Josh to start reeling down the top 2. Had to work some traffic. This time he doesn't really have to do that. So we'll see if he's able to maybe start reeling them in a little quicker.
Yeah, but also one thing about that is where he was at the start of the race. He might have been saving his stuff a little bit better than what he was, or what he is now. So you got to really try not to overdo it at this point. But I know that he and Tooker are teammates, so Tooker probably won't force the issue knowing that Josh has got some speed in that car. Those three right now just running right there, third, fourth, and fifth, and then it's a big gap to Jeff Green. Is based on the first run, there was a group of about 7 or 8 guys that kind of drove away from everybody, and then there was another little group, and with some of those guys already pitting, like Ethan Burrell and whatnot, there's a big gap there between Tyler Fody and Jeff Green. Our leaders are about to get into another pack of traffic, a pack of wave around cars. Those guys that short pitted, trying to think that it was going to go green. So there's about to be some guys like the 3 of Scott Haney that are right in front of the leader there. So we look at Josh Adams here. Came over to a new team there to be teammates with Tooker and with Tate. We haven't seen Tate for a couple weeks. I think he has some real life priorities going on right now as far as things that he has to do, and hasn't been able to make these last few Xfinity races. But Tooker and Burrell, Josh Adams, Matthew Weeks, all teammates over there. So we've got a battle for the lead. Maybe is RC going to try to pass Chad here already this run?
Maybe we saw RC take off with the lead. Chad passed him, and we got, like you said, a big group of lap cars about a second up the road from our 2 leaders here. So
yeah, there's 7 or 8 guys right there in front of the leaders. One of them is Scott Haney, but the other ones are all guys that are multiple laps down. You got Goodman up there. There's the 24, the 42 is up there in front of him. We'll see how nice these guys want to be about, letting our leaders through.
And the 24 was up here about to get lapped by Chad, but he pitted about 10 laps ago and was able to drive away from him. So that might come into play a little later when those tires start to fall off.
Yeah, 24's got a bunch of damage too, so I think even with the little bit fresher tires, eventually he will come back to the leaders. They're side by side right in front of them here. The 42, and here comes Chad and RC. They're kind of giving Chad the middle.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. Do you force it 3 wide being the leader? I mean, it's pretty risky to do at narrow track like Dover, but.
And RC right here, lap traffic's going to cause a lead change possibly.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even being second place isn't the worst thing right now. Have RC go up there and try to work his way through all this traffic. But he's going to look to take it back.
Yep, coming up on all these lap cars, and they're going to race for the lead.
And the only thing this is doing, and the only thing this is doing is bringing Josh Adams, David Tooker, Tyler Fody closer and closer. The more these 2 battle for the lead.
Yeah, and they're, like I said, we got, they've only dealt with a couple cars there. There's one more moving up. Just let him go. He's not going to try to be a factor in this battle for the lead. Chad had a little blink there, huh? Oh, Chad has to check up off of 2. Ran up on a slow car there pretty quick, quicker than he thought he was going to. Oh, one of the lap cars got up into the wall there.
I don't know about you, Chris, but being down there driving, if I'm one of these guys, I hate lap traffic. Being up here, man, I'm rooting for more lap traffic.
Yeah, it really shuffled things up here. I don't want to see anybody's race get ruined, but hopefully RC maybe will get held up here like Chad did for a second. And I thought maybe Scott Haney would try to take the fight to RC. Maybe he's trying. Just nothing there for him. Garrison Hogan, who fought with Daniel Martinez to try to pass some of those guys and race for that lucky dog. Well, they just lost the lucky dog to Scott Haney now.
Yeah, but Garrison's not too far from getting his lap back the old-fashioned way here. I mean, about half a straightaway back from the leader.
Yeah, I think if I'm one of these guys that's up front right now, I'm seeing, maybe they haven't been told yet, RC, Chad, Josh, Fody, and Tooker. But I'm kind of hoping that Garrison doesn't get back into this race because it looks like he might be the best car.
Yeah,
he had to start behind all the lead lap cars, all the lap cars. Well, maybe not all of them. We did have a lot of waiver rounds last time, so he might not have started as far back as what we think there.
But I mean, he's running lap times a couple tenths quicker than our top guys, so I mean, he's definitely a lot of speed.
Yeah, he's coming right up to the back of. We're about ready to have a change at that lucky dog position. Right now here, maybe this time in 1 and 2. Looks like Garrison is going to go around Scott Haney right now. He had to work hard to get up there that far. And it is going to probably be at least 20 laps or so before they get to the next car 1 lap down. Brent Jones is still 6-8 seconds out in front of these guys. So right now, is our top 5 is RC Enerson, Chad Frankenfield, Josh Adams, Fody, and Tooker. We talked about Ethan Burrell having to take the wave. He's going to need help to get back up here with the shot to win this thing. It's right now 11th. He's got a lot of guys right in front of him. We just saw Vincent Isabella run across the apron there into turn 1. Not sure what line he was looking for there.
Hey, he's just trying to get the car to turn, man. That helps.
It looked like he had a pretty good exit after he did it, so I don't know. Taking a look here at Josh Adams. Now we're looking here at the this group of traffic here. That's Ethan Burrell underneath the 7. 7. We saw the 7 really fight hard earlier. Now he is sitting here, 2 laps down? 2 laps down, quite a bit of damage. We saw him in that wreck with Trevor. It's Andrew Rucker there trying to go around him. Rucker being a lap down. Nick, we're about 10 laps or so. 10, 15 laps from the fuel window opening up. I don't think we're going to see anybody short pit by that wide margin. But at what point do you start thinking about making that last stop?
I don't know. It came down about lap 1. It came down about lap 75. So I kind of want to run it till 140. I pretty much run it almost all the way out. We're only going to have a 10-20 lap window. Towards the end of this run where you can make it?
Well, right now, based on what I'm seeing, they can run about another 40, 45 laps. So, I mean, the window is going to be open here in about 10 laps. So it's going to be like a 35 lap window where anybody who fits in that window can make it. But you do not want to be on 80 lap tires at the end. But what's the magic number? Is it 50 to go? Do you want to pit with 60 to go, try to get out there? Or do you run it as far as you can and pit with 35, 40 to go and say, hey, half a fuel run, I'll be able to make that up on the other end?
I don't know. I kind of think you got to split this run right down the middle. You know, started at lap 175, be 125 laps to the end. You know, I think you want to come in about lap 130, 140.
I think I would try to come at 50 to go. That would be my thing. I would do it at about 50 to go. But man, you just don't want to get burned by a yellow either. Like, that's so tough here. But if you want to win, sometimes you gotta make a call that is a little bit risky, because if there's not a yellow and you don't pit at 50 to go, you run it out to 35 or 40 to go, then you're looking probably not running that guy back down. So we've got this battle heating up for second place. Chad Frankenfield, Josh Adams, Tyler Fode.
RC's kind of been slowly pulling away from these guys.
Well, this is about the point in the last run when Josh Adams started really making some time. So we'll see what happens with that. They're still, you know, all at about 2 seconds behind the leader. They are closing in on Brent Jones here in about the next 10 or 15 laps. RC is going to lap Brent Jones. We got a couple of those guys, a couple of the waiver rounds are on pit road now. Waiver rounds didn't work for them there to stay out. Looks like Fode's going to try to take advantage of Josh here, and there's a slow lap car here out in front of him.
And that's the 24 we were talking about earlier on better tires, but it looks like those tires have finally given up to where these guys a little bit better.
Josh was able to hold him off there and get around that 24. And they got the fastest car on the track is coming up behind them, but he is a lap car. He is right there. He's caught that battle for second.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of role he plays in this, because, you know, he wants by too. He doesn't want to lose time to leader RC and potentially, you know, have RC go up there and lap some more cars, take him out of the lucky dog spot.
Yeah, this battle for second, you know, like we talked about, it is very, very tight. No big move. We saw Fode try to pass Josh, but he couldn't do it. Right now, everybody's kind of strung out into their own little separate packs. You got that battle for second, and then it's about 2 seconds to Tooker. And then Tooker's got 5.5 seconds to P6, which is Jeff Green right now. Matthew Weeks is right there racing him. Then 13 seconds behind the leader. And 8th is Dustin Dewar, David Westergreen, Hunter Smith, Ethan Burrell, Trey Holmes, and Brent Jones. Brent Jones is just a couple seconds out in front of our leader right now, though.
You got Fode trying to make a move on Josh Adams. Looks like Garrison's going to follow him through too. But yeah, I mean, even right after the green flag, I feel like I got strung out really quick. You know, we kind of saw it break off into little packs.
Yeah, I agree. It got strung out pretty quick. I think these cars are tight. They're not loose. I don't see anybody really getting loose. So I think that's why we're seeing, you know, not too many yellows. RC is about to get into a bunch of traffic. Brent Jones being one of them that we talked about, just out in front of RC here. And there's a bunch of other ones. You got Rucker up there, Vincent Isabella, all right in front of your leader. And those guys, I have to think they're going to race them pretty hard. They don't want to lose. You know, if Rucker loses another lap, that's it. Vincent's already lost 2. So he might not put up as big of a fight.
And Fody's getting a good look here on Chad.
Yeah, he is all over the back of Chad right now.
Thought he was going to take it, but he couldn't get the run out of Ford that he quite wanted.
We might have it right here. Wow, Chad chops his nose there a little bit. Ooh, maybe a little bit of contact right in the middle of the corner.
Looks like Fody's running a little bit higher than Chad, trying to get that run out, but just can't quite get a good enough run. Oh, and a little blink by the 15.
Brent Jones just got lapped, so Garrison Hogan has lost the lucky dog again right now.
Here we go, Fody's got a good run. He's going to take a look. Make that pass pretty easily. And Hogan's going to try to follow him through again.
Yeah, I think Josh Adams will try to come through here with him too.
Yeah. Hogan's just letting Fody make all the holes, and like, I'll follow you.
We saw Chad, and there's Tooker. Tooker's gotten to these guys now too.
Chad just lost 3 spots in 1 lap.
Well, we saw that earlier, but this time he didn't get away.
You know, if I'm Chad here, I think I'm, you know, got a good gap behind you. I think now's the time maybe come down pit road. Or about at that time on the run where you split it right down the middle. You know, I think you got to consider it.
Man, I just don't know. I still think it's too early. I mean, do you want 65 lap old tire? I would not want any more than 60 lap old tires when this checker flag falls.
Man, I don't know. I mean, that'd be splitting the run right down the middle. We're about 60 laps into this run right now, and green on lap 75. I think in the next 10 laps or so, you're going to see some guys start coming down.
I think if I pit right now, I'm banking on a caution on the other side of pit stops.
That's the big risk too. I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, you pit a little early, you risk that caution coming out and being lap or 2 down.
Chokers came from a long way back all of a sudden, though. I will say that.
And another guy who's kind of quietly worked his way up here too is Matthew Weeks. We saw him get involved in that lap 1 incident, had to fix some damage and start at the back, and he's worked his way up to 6th.
Yeah, I think RC at this point, though, has kind of established control. He's got almost a 4-second lead. We got Rucker. Rucker's going to pit right now. He's not far in front of this group battling. He's right in front of Fody here on the backstretch, going to be pitting.
Yeah. And RC's lead, this lead's probably going to extend a little bit too, because like you said, Fody's in a lot of lap traffic right now. RC's in relatively clean track. You know, I would expect that lead to grow quite a bit here over the next couple laps. Yeah, about half a second right there. That's another thing I think you got to take into consideration too, is when you make your pit stop. Is, you know, if you got a lot of lap traffic that you're coming up on, you know, you might consider just pulling off down pit road instead of working your way through them and losing some time.
And like you said, they are in a ton of Chad Frankenfield's on pit road. Chad has decided that he wanted to be the first guy to pit.
I like the call. I told you before he did it. I told you I would consider it.
I don't like the call.
I'm pulling for you, Chad. Hopefully it works. But yeah, I mean, that might force the hand of some of these other guys up running up front too, because I mean, times have fallen off, like we were talking about earlier, about 2 seconds.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of lap cars right in front of our leader right now. Look at this. We got our leader on the screen, and there is a ton of traffic. We're talking we're talking 8, 9, 10 cars right in front of him. One of them being Rucker, who just came off pit road. Some of them pitting here. Hunter Smith is on pit road.
Locked him up pretty good coming in pit road.
Yeah, all this is not what you want to see right in front of you if you're RC. Lots of craziness going on right in front of him. He has stretched his lead out over 5 seconds to Tyler Fody. 6 seconds to Josh Adams. Tooker right with Josh Adams. Matthew Weeks 14 seconds back. Jeff Green's on pit road right now. Tyler Dixon is on pit road. Chad has just came through and gotten one of his laps back. He lost 2 in the pit cycle. Dustin Dewar is on pit road. So right in the middle of green flag stops right now. I think Chad feels good about what he's done so far right now. I just don't think it's going to stay. I think he will not be as happy with that decision the last 20 laps of this race.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the tire difference right now, I mean, Chad came out of pit road 4 or 5 laps ago, and he's running a second and a half faster, but, you know, it's going to fall off pretty quick here. But
yeah,
I don't know.
And a caution still kills his strategy.
Yeah, it just kind of depends when these guys pit. I mean, I think they got to come here in the next 5 to 10 laps. So just be, you know, who got caught in the least amount of lap traffic, who got on pit road the best.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to get caught short pitting and get lapped, but I mean, it could work out.
And the other thing is too, I mean, you know, talk about our leaders, RC, Enerson, and Goody and Tooker. I mean, they're staying out here to working their way through lap traffic, but then they also have guys flying by them on tires they got to watch out for too. So it just adds another element into staying out here.
Yeah, it's a big risk to staying out, but it's a big risk to short pitting. And really, the only guy that's been at the front that's done it is Chad. And he really short pitted him by a lot. Jeff Green's coming up to the back of this little group that we're looking at here. On new tires, you're about to see Jeff Green come into the picture and go out of the picture like he's a NASA rocket here in just a second. There you see him coming up there behind Tooker. Watch how fast he makes this pass. Just newer tires will do a hell of a lot for you. And he's gone. Matthew Weeks hits pit road.
Is this about the time you were thinking, Chris? About lap 150?
Yeah, this is about the time that I think I would pit. I think this is the sweet spot. I think this is you still got time to run back down the guys who short pitted you. RC's on pit road. RC's
Ooh,
listening
a
to
little
me.
hot. He came in a little hot. Did he get it down? Did he get? I don't know if he got it down to pit road speed there.
Not seeing any black flags on him. Looks
Yeah, he
clean.
got it down. He got all he could, though. I'll tell you. I don't think he can get much more.
Yep. Fody's still out there running.
If Fody, Tooker, Josh Adams still toughing it out there, I think they're maybe hoping for yellow. Maybe trap RC a lap down here.
Here comes Fody. Here comes Tooker.
Man, and Chad is in a ton of lap traffic in turn one. I mean, I'm just paying attention because seeing where he's going to cycle out compared to RC and these guys just coming off pit road.
Just a lot of, I mean, we still got Josh Adams out here. I think he is just thinking, you know, I'm not going to beat these guys the other way. Just try to catch a yellow, maybe. See what happens.
Is 2 tires an option, Chris?
Nah, I wouldn't. Not on tires this old. That'd be quite the risk. 2 tires would be quite the risk. But, I mean, if Josh Adams could and were to catch a caution, there it is. There's the caution.
And you know this is who this is huge for? That one, a Garrison Hogan. We were talking about him. That puts him right back in this.
It puts him in the catbird seat. Like, it puts him, he's second. We have 4 cars on the lead lap. Josh Adams, Garrison Hogan, Chad Frankenfield, and Brent Jones.
Let's take a look back at what happened here. Like the 70 of Jesse Rasmus right behind Garrison Hogan trying to get on pit road.
Wow. But I think the 24 wrecked and brought the caution out. I think the 24 had something happen on the front stretch somewhere.
Take a look at what happened to Jari over here. Car's coming on new tires, had to get out of the way.
Ooh, a little contact from Vincent Isabella churns him.
Yeah, just that closing rate.
What a strategy play. What a job Josh Adams has done here now. He's going to be the guy.
Yeah, and I mean, that's huge for those guys, you know. We're talking about getting bit by caution and even staying out almost as long as they could. They still got bit by caution at the end of that thing.
All right, so here's what happened. Okay, we had that caution come out, and green flag stops had not cycled through. We are looking at Josh Adams is going to be the leader. Garrison Hogan is going to be second. Chad Frankenfield is going to be third. Brent Jones, I believe, will be fourth. And Garrison Hogan, fifth, I think. RC got the lucky dog. RC got the free pass.
Yeah, RC's going to need another caution or two, though, because, I mean, he's going to have to start at the tail end of the line.
Yeah, but what's the tail end going to be here? Look at everybody that's taking waves. Everybody had pitted. Like, all these guys are going to be taking waves. The tail end's going to be, what, the fourth row, basically? Unless it puts him behind the wave cars, which I don't think it will.
Yeah, we'll see where it cycles out.
All right, we got scoring updated. Josh, Garrison, and Chad, followed by Brent Jones. RC is going to be the lucky dog, and we start P5. It looks like taking waiver rounds are going to be Jeff Green in P6, Tyler Fody P7, Dustin Dewar P8, David Tooker P9, Weeks 10th, Hunter Smith, Ethan Burrell. I think taking a waiver round to get back to one down is going to be Westergreen, Holmes, and Rucker, and Jay Canor.
Yeah, this is a scoring nightmare right now. Caution in the middle of green flag pit stops.
I want to give a shout out to Brent Jones, though, being able to work it and stay out there. You know, he stayed out, did the same thing that Josh Adams did, Garrison Hogan did, and now, if there's not another caution, Brent Jones is probably looking at a top 5. Real quick here while we're under yellow, we haven't had too many yellows tonight. I want to give a shout out to all our sponsors. This is the Elite Racing Network. This is the Elite Racing Series, the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. C2 Freight. Jeff Green's going to be waving back around to the lead lap here. We got C2 Freight. We got Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is your biggest fan if you're a small business owner. And we got Powerhouse Recycling, and this is a full distance. This is the Monster Mile 200 at Dover. We're going to take the green here. I believe they added a lap of yellow, if I'm hearing that right, because of all the wave around cars. That might actually hurt RC. That might actually make them all pass RC right here.
Well, I don't know, Chris. I mean, said last week Hogan was the one to watch out for. I didn't pick him. Said it again this week. Didn't pick him. Just because he missed the grid. It might make a liar out of me again. I might have to start picking him. I think he's shown a lot of speed. I think he's going to be tough to hold off. I mean, Adams has shown a lot of speed. Chad's shown a lot of speed. But a lot of our top 5 and top 10 have gotten just completely changed here with all the cautions and strategy that have been played so far. Strategy took a lot of these guys out of it. Just the way the cautions have been falling.
But the field's going to be in control here of Josh Adams. Going to have Garrison Hogan, Chad Frankenfield, Brent Jones. I don't know how I agree with the scoring. The lucky dog got sent to the back, and Jeff Green's going to get the restart up there. Like, it's almost a disadvantage to be the lucky dog. It is a disadvantage. Like, I feel like he should be, wherever Jeff Green's at, he should be in front of Jeff Green. But Josh Adams is gone here. Green is out. Good start. Garrison Hogan, Chad Frankenfield, Brent Jones all get single filed out. But yeah, if I was somebody that's in this league right now in racing, as we got a race for the lead, we'll get back to what I was going to say later. We talked about it. Garrison's going to the lead right here. Ooh, near contact there. Gotta fight it though. You can't just give up control. Chad's going to try to follow him through. Ooh, Josh Adams really gets in the wall. Now, one thing that we should be quick to point out here, Chad did use another set of tires. He is down a set to the field at this point. He only has one set left. Everybody else has 2, so if they run to 30 to go here and get a caution, Chad would have to make a decision.
Well, I think a lot of these guys are in the same situation because, I mean, RC came down pit road again. He's in the same
That's right.
situation.
RC did too, but everybody who took the waiver round did not. Or else they wouldn't have got the waiver round. But I do think that what I was getting ready to say here before we went, or as we went green, I think that should be changed like immediately. RC should not be punished for being the lucky dog, and the guys that wave around get the restart in front of him. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. Got a battle for the lead, Chad and Garrison. Gonna run really hard for the spot right now, I would think.
Yeah, Chad started P3, made the pass on Josh Adams, and went up there and just took the lead from Hogan. So F15 is still showing a lot of speed. We'll see if Hogan. I mean, Hogan's been showing a lot of speed throughout the night too. We'll see if he's able to save those tires and maybe have something for Chad a little later in this run here.
Yeah, it almost looks like Chad he is on kill right now.
And somebody that got.
Go ahead.
No, you go first. Go ahead.
I do think right now, though, if a caution came out, I think everybody who has 2 sets left would pit. So Chad would have to make a decision, and he's burning his tires up right now. It'd be a caution right now would be worst case scenario for Chad.
Yeah, I think caution is what RC. Guys like RC's looking for, maybe even Ethan Burrell. Ethan Burrell got burned by both of those cautions. I mean, I think that's maybe what's triggering him is Ethan's coming down pit road, and then that's triggering him a caution like a lap later, because same thing happened 2 times in a row for him.
Yeah, at least he hasn't been trapped though. He's still going to get the race right now for a top 10. As Chad's just driving away, Josh Adams has gotten to the back of Garrison Hogan now. Here we are looking at some of our wave around cars, and then now see what's going on here is the lucky dog is RC Enerson, but he got put behind all these guys. RC actually was able to come down and get new tires. He's got new tires. These guys are on the same tires that made the green flag stops on.
Yeah, but I think for these guys, I mean, yeah, like Ethan Burrell, I think he's only on like 2 lap old tires. Weeks, I think it's a little longer, but
yeah, and we know Jeff Green had been out there for a while. We documented Jeff catching a group and passing it. So some of these guys have probably got 10 or 15 more laps on tires. Right now, that is for a battle for 7th. Ethan Burrell currently has it. RC wants it.
We got a good side-by-side battle back here for 14th. Trey Holmes, a little contact. Westergreen back here.
Yeah, and is that
a little more contact?
Dog? Yeah, that is the lucky dog battle. Going to be a lot of contact with that battle. We know Westergreen wants it. We know Trey Holmes wants it. And they both waved around as well. Yeah, so neither one of those guys were able to get fresh tires. Right now, Chad Frankenfield's got about a 9/10 of a second lead over Garrison Hogan. Josh Adams right on his bumper, and then it's 3.5 seconds to Brent Jones, 7 seconds to Fody. It is a 3-horse battle for this win if it stays green. Yeah, and there will be a ton of lap traffic if it stays green as well, because guys are on older tires that waved around. These leaders are on, like we talked about, with RC, they're on 10, 15, in some cases maybe even 20 lap fresher tires on some of these lap cars that are, you might think out pretty far out in front of them at half a track, but at 2 seconds a lap, that's going to be no time.
Yeah, I think this is like the ideal situation for guys like Brent Jones too. I mean, you played the strategy right. You got a good gap back to guys who were running up front just because of the way the caution fell, and they had to take the wave. So I think guys like Brent Jones want to see his thing go green and come out here with a good finish.
Yeah, if it goes green, I think like we talked about, Brent Jones is looking at a top 5 if it goes green. RC still all over the back of Ethan. Got Matthew Weeks there, running in P9. And I'm not sure if it's showing up for you, Nick, but I am seeing a ton of marbles in the top 2.5, 3 lanes of this racetrack. So if somebody does get up there into that, it is going to be either all the way to the wall or they're going to loop it. Lots of green flag racing tonight, though. And Chad is getting caught right now. This battle for the lead is about to close up. Garrison and Josh Adams are both just eating into Chad's lead very quickly.
Yeah, we were talking a couple laps ago about it. Yeah, a couple laps ago it was about a second, and all of a sudden that's been slashed in half. So maybe, you know, like you said earlier, Chad went a little too hard out of the gate, was going on kill too much, used up those tires.
It's down to 3 car lengths between first and second, and Josh Adams is right there as well. He's right on the back bumper. Drove right to his back bumper right now. Trying to work some lap traffic. All 3 leaders right here, closed right up. We know Garrison has been so good tonight, but he's been laps down since the drop. Josh Adams has had pretty good long run pace. And Chad has been, all 3 of these guys have looked like the best car at some point of the night. Nick and I are super smart and know everything there is to know about sim racing. Neither one of us picked the guy that's running in the top 3 right now that's battling for this win.
Now my pick's running back there in 5th. Who'd you pick again? Who was your pick?
I think.
Don't lie now and say it was any of these guys up here. I know it wasn't.
I think I picked Garrison. That's who I picked. No, I believe I took Burrell.
Oh, that's right. Yep. That's why he's been getting shafted on the pit stops.
That's right. I was his bad luck charm. Garrison's all over the back of Chad, but we know Chad is not going to give it up. Just a couple weeks back, we saw a bump and run at Martinsville. You think we're going to see another, bump and run at Dover tonight?
Oh,
maybe
a dump and run, maybe.
Wow.
What a save. Almost saw a dump and run there, Chris.
Yeah. I've got to think Chad is not going to be happy about that. But Garrison said, I am not going to sit here behind you, buddy. I got to go. Got some contact. Wow. That might be all she wrote with the speed we've seen out of Garrison tonight. That might be the race. I'm glad I got that in before he hit him. I didn't think he was going to hit him with 17 laps to go.
Yeah, Chad did a good job hanging on to that thing, too. Could have easily lost it. Been worse than it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Chad spins right there, we get a caution, and Garrison is likely the car to catch that tally.
Because even with all that happening, I mean, Chad's recovery is in 3rd place. Got a 4-second gap back to 4th.
And we are inside of 15 to go here.
And we got lap traffic. I mean, I wouldn't say Josh is out of this thing yet either.
Yeah, but all this lap traffic's on such older tires than these guys. See if Josh can close up, but I just don't know. With the speed we've seen out of Garrison tonight. This might be all she wrote. Garrison finally got back on the lead lap, and that's all we needed.
I don't know. I'd hate to say the C word, but we've had a lot of late race cautions change things up this year. I wouldn't rule that out either.
Yeah, and I wouldn't rule out if we do get a re-rack here. I have to think Chad is not, it's not going to be too far from his mind what happened there. We do have a change here for P4, Brent Jones. Even though he's on a little bit fresher tires, those guys that took the wave have still ran him down and caught him. But it's still going to be a solid night. If it stays green, it's still going to be a great night for Brent Jones. Ooh, slow car right there in front of Garrison trying to pull out of the way, but almost put himself right in the way. Now, what are you thinking here if you're Josh? If you're Josh Adams, you're sitting there. I hate to say this right now at this point of the race and at this point of the season, but you're looking at a great points night, a P2 finish. You got the lead some. A lot of guys that are around you in points are behind you. Or are you sitting there saying, give me a yellow so I can try to win this thing?
Yeah, I think Josh, the way he sounded last week in his post-race interview with us, I think he'll take a P2 tonight. I don't think he was expecting to come in here and battle for the lead and contend for a win, so I think he'll come home second any day.
And another thing, he did restart the last restart as the leader and lost it in the lap and a half, so, maybe that was his shot, and he said, man, second would be awesome. Knowing that RC's had better pace, knowing that Chad's had better pace a lot of the race.
Got Brent Jones losing 2 spots. RC and Tooker just drove by him over here. RC is looking to get by Tooker before the end of this thing.
Yeah, RC is likely going to get this spot. He's on a little bit fresher tires. I was really hoping that RC could get a top 3 tonight. I was really hoping we could talk to him. I know you and him had a little run-in a couple weeks back in the Cup car. It would have been great to bring that up here tonight.
Hey, he might. It's still not over.
He's going to need help. He's going to need a yellow and a good stop and then to make a few more passes. I will say this. If we get one more yellow, we're going to get at least another yellow. If we get one, we're bound to get at least 2. As he did make that pass, while we were talking about him there on Tooker. Brent Jones back to 7th. Still a good night, though. 4 laps to go as the leader crosses the line there.
Hogan's he's slowly been stretching it out over Josh Adams.
I don't think RC is going to get the 40. He could. He would have to really be making up time. I just don't think he's going to get there. Right now, we're just sitting here with just 11 cars on the lead lap, but Dustin Dewar is right out in front, and there's a lot of traffic out in front of our leader. Like, he could get held up here pretty quick. Anything can happen. Just because there's 2 laps left doesn't mean these guys are done racing. There's still some very hard-fought battles going on all the way around this place. Garrison's coming through 3 and 4. White flags in the air. One more lap for Garrison Hogan.
Yeah, looking to go back-to-back. Got it done last week in Michigan. Looking to get it done here tonight coming from the back.
Yeah, tonight's way more impressive, though. Being laps down, catching that caution at the right time. Comes down into turn 3 and 4. Garrison Hogan's going to come off of turn 4, and he is going to win at Dover. Josh Adams is going to come home 2nd. Chad Frankenfield 3rd. Fody will come home 4th. RC is going to be 5th. Tooker, Brent Jones, Ethan Burrell, Matthew Weeks, Jeff Green, and Dustin Dewar. Those are the 11 cars that finished on the lead lap tonight. Got Hunter Smith, Trey Holmes, Wester Green, and Jay Canor finishing 1 lap down. I feel like we saw a pretty good race tonight, Nick. Lots of green flag racing, a caution right during the middle of pit stops to shake the tree. And we called it about halfway through this race. Garrison Hogan, he appeared to have the fastest car, just needed some luck to fall his way. And that caution couldn't have been more perfect for anybody than it was for Garrison.
It really, started in the hole, had to dig out of it, and just a strategy worked out for him. Not worked out for other guys like Ethan Burrell. I mean, RC, you see him up there leading, got caught on a bad caution.
Yeah, and we can't forget the bump and run either. We'll have to make sure we bring that up. We've got two bump and runs from the lead here in the last 3 weeks, so pretty good finishes here at Martinsville, and then here tonight at Dover.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little more than a little bit of a bump tonight, but
yeah, I'm sure Chad will tell you that it was a lot more than a bump.
But, shout out to some of these guys who played the strategy too. I mean, you got Brent Jones finishing in the top 10, 7th place, started back in 21st. Held on to that good finish.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see these guys come through the field like they did and see the race stay green like it did. Saw some green flag stops, saw that caution coming out in the middle of green flag stops. Like I said, it really shook things up. But I believe Chad Frankenfield is in the waiting room right now. If we bring him up. Hey, Chad, this is Chris and Nick up here in the booth. Solid P3 tonight. It looked like you might have a shot for the win. Got bumped out of the way a little bit there. Take us through your night and the contact and still hanging on to 3rd.
I don't know if Chad's there, Chris. You hear him?
I do not hear Chad right now.
You might have to come back to Chad. We might have to bring up our 2nd place finisher here, Josh Adams.
Can you guys got me?
Yeah, we got you now.
There he is.
Question, or you want me to repeat it?
Oh, sorry. No, I got it. Yeah, the contact, I was a little upset at first, but I mean, it was just, I was kind of already turning down, and then it was kind of a late move, so I couldn't really defend it or slide up. But it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I was probably going to finish 3rd either way, but yeah, I mean, it was a good race all around, good run. It was nice to be able to finish a race. But what I was trying to do there at the end was I was trying to get the lead and then bank on a yellow. With all those guys in the back coming through, I was anticipating yellow, and I knew if I could get the lead with a late yellow, I felt pretty good that I was going to be able to just hold on. But either way, it was a good run. Very good run.
Yeah, we were talking, when you lost 2nd or 3rd there, I said if I were you, I'd look at coming down pit road. I thought it was a good call. But yeah, starting to put those runs together, man. I mean, you had a lot of speed tonight. Still a solid finish. How you feel going into Chicago next week?
Feel good. I mean, I felt good all year. I really every race I've been top 5 to top 10 in speed, and just haven't had the luck. Not really getting wrecked by anybody. It's just I get caught up in the weird stuff this season. So I know if we can just keep the luck on our side, we'll be able to get some more good finishes together. And as anybody else knows, I mean, it's just about getting into the chase. So I mean, and with the new format, it's not really a win and in anymore. You kind of have to point your way in. It's more important to me to get the point. So either way, I'm happy with it. I want to thank Kicking the Tires for sponsoring me and all of our series, and then obviously I want to thank Mrs. Goody's Goody, C2 Freight, Black Marketing, Powerhouse Recycling, and then all you guys up in the Elite Racing Network booth. It was you guys do a great job, so I appreciate you guys doing everything you do.
we couldn't do a great job without you guys putting on a good show. And tonight's show was pretty good. When you go back and look at it, it was. We saw the lane move around a little bit, and come back and talk to us, Chad. You don't talk to us enough. People say we talk about you too much, but there's a lot of things that you do for the league. So come back and talk to us, in Chicago, and good luck moving on to making the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Alrighty, we'll bring up second place finisher Josh Adams here. Josh?
All right. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you take this one.
I'll take it. Josh, Chris, and Nick up in the booth. You came up and talked to us last week. You didn't sound too confident coming into tonight, but unloaded, started ninth, had good speed, went up there, led some laps. What'd you need there to close that thing out?
The driver needed a little bit more. I don't know. I didn't have anything for Garrison, and Chad was really fast taking off, and I didn't have that kind of takeoff speed. So I was just hoping them two would get together, and they did, but it didn't affect them enough.
Yeah, we saw at the start of the race, it appeared that Chad, might be pretty good and maybe lost a little something. RC found a little something. We saw Garrison coming through the field. I'm sure you were well aware where you were sitting that he came from a lap down. Caution fell right for him. So take us through your strategy and what made you decide there to stay out and run long and ultimately catch that caution.
Yeah, I mean, they started, in the Discord, they were seeing wrecks happening like everywhere, and it seemed like it was getting a little bit more intense as the laps went. So I kind of figured the caution was going to come, and I only had like 5 more laps by the time those guys started pitting. So why not?
All right, Josh. Before we let you get out of here, anybody you want to thank, and what are you looking forward to about going to Chicago next week?
A mile and a half is always good. Vegas is right after that, but just the whole Pro Edge team. We've put some more good finishes together. I think this is like my 3rd podium of the season, so I'm running pretty good with those guys. Gonna have to go refresh before Erskine with the body armor.
Well, all right, Josh. Solid run tonight. Good luck next week in Chicago, and looks like you're well on your way to making the playoffs.
Yep, thanks.
Alrighty.
Bring up winner Garrison Hogan now.
Yep, joined by race winner, back-to-back, Garrison Hogan. Garrison, take us through your night and how long it took you to realize you might have the best car. We were watching on the broadcast the lap car drive all the way up there and caught that caution at the perfect time. If it would have came out a little bit later, you'd had to pit. So take us through your night and where all the speed came from.
Well, to start off, I missed the start because I just walked in the door and I had to go to the bathroom. So that was funny, but I got here and got in the car and I was like, oh God, this is a tough track to get your lap back and then get it back around the traffic. But got to the point where I just kind of fell back a little bit to figure some stuff out, figure out how the car was handling, what the tires were like. And then I started to pick my way through the field to try to make sure I could stay up there towards the first car lap down. I was close the first time. I think that's when Haney got it very early in the race, somewhere around lap 100 or earlier than that. And then after that, it was just about trying to get the lap back. And so what saved me was staying out that last pit stop that these guys had. I knew they were going to try to undercut each other and they were worried about each other. So I'm just going to try to overcut and go as long as possible. And that's what happened. I ended up with like 3.5, 4 laps of fuel left and got back on the lead lap. And I think we got to second place. And on the restart, I took off a little bit, see what I had. The car was a little damaged. And then, once I kind of figured out what was going on, Chad blew by me because he was going earlier in the run. I kind of just sat back a little bit, saved some tire, and then just started to pick up the pace again. And didn't mean to bump into him for sure, like I told him. I just kind of had my nose down there already set up for the bottom of the corner, and I let off early to make sure I tried not to get into him, but kind of like have my nose there to maybe scare him a little bit, and I just made contact and hit him. So we got the win. That's all that really matters, back to back. But still part-time season, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm out here to win races, and that's what we're going to do with this Chevy here. And again, it's great to put the sponsor in victory lane.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I mean, you said last week you're only running part time. Anything changed since you gone back to back? And anybody else you'd like to thank tonight?
I mean, it's not going to change much. I do have that Road to Pro race, and that's coming up very shortly. But it's all about getting the sponsor out here. 213 Gaming on the car, and uh, somewhere that they provide the merchandise, that they provide the cups, the mugs, the T-shirts. Go buy one of mine right now. If you want, you can go buy Matt's or any of our other drivers. But it's a great sponsor. He came on board, like I said, on the off season. I kind of was poking fun a little bit for FTF, and he contacted me, and it was good to see somebody reach out, and I'm glad to put him in victory lane. And it's good to race with those pro edge guys as well. Like I said, those are my friends from back in the day. We came up racing and everything, so it's just fun to do it for them as well.
Well, all right, Garrison, congrats on the win. Will we see you in Chicago next week, or is next week going to be one you'll miss?
It's my off week, so you'll probably see me. It just depends on my plans in real life. We'll see.
All right, well, I'm calling it now. We're going to see him in Chicago next week. Got to come back and go for the triple. Congrats on the win. I think you'll want to run more races than you'll miss from here on out.
We'll see, Chris.
Well, all right, Nick, it was an exciting race. 200 laps at Dover. Ended up being a pretty good show. Green flag stops. Got to see a little bit of everything. Moving on to Chicago next week. What's your outlook going there?
I don't know. I mean, coming into tonight, we were joking around, saying we would see some green flag pit stops, and we ended up seeing them. So yeah, it was definitely exciting. A lot of strategy played. Taking care of their tires, a lot of comers and goers. But next week, kind of back to more of a traditional intermediate, going to Chicago. I'd look to see more of the typical guys up there. Fody, Frankenfield, Josh Adams, Burrell, Tooker. Those guys I expect to be strong. Who knows? I mean, we might see some surprises. I mean, look at Brent Jones tonight too, playing the strategy and coming home with a good finish. So
Yeah, and
looking
one thing
forward to
about
it.
Chicago too is it's one of the places that iRacing has went and given is known on the sim and the people who race on the sim as fake grip. So the outside line is going to be pretty good next week. The inside line is going to be pretty good. We should have multiple grooves with the added resin. That's what we'll call it going into next week. But real quick before we get out of here, I'm going to give a shout out to all the sponsors, everybody out here at the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series, everybody at C2 Freight, Blue Egg Marketing, Powerhouse Recycling, Chad Frankenfield for putting this league on, everybody at the Elite Racing Network. We had Rich with us tonight, stepping up. We had David up here tonight. A lot of help to get this thing going. Couldn't do it without our great producers and the great people at ERN. So come back and see us next week, and come back and see us on Wednesday night when the Cup Series runs.